Welcome to Grumpy Old Geeks, a weekly talk show where we discuss the finer points of what went wrong on the internet and who's to blame. I'm Jason DeFilippo.
And I'm Brian Schulmeister.
Brian, we got new merch. I had to put it at the top of the show because most people don't make it to the end where we usually pimp the merch, but we have merch, new merch. Finally.
We do. After almost a year of telling you I was going to go in and do something, I went in and I did one.
You did one. I did two, and a mug. So there's more coming. It's just trying to get... trying to figure out how this shit works because it's been a year since I opened Shopify and Printful. I'm like, where's that stuff at? So,
yeah, it's funny. At my old gig, we use Printful a lot, so I was pretty almost expert level. But it's been so long, I'm like, okay, now what do I do? Oh, wait,
exactly.
Hold on.
Yeah. The worst part is going to try and find which shirt you want to put your shit on. It's like, do I want the thick one? Do I want the thin one? I prefer the black heather with the light Bella shirt because they're very comfortable in Southern California.
I got to go in and see if they've got some raglans because I love me a good raglan.
I don't know what that is.
Pretty sure that the shirt with the third length sleeves is a different color. So you got like white and then the sleeves are like black and they go third length.
Like the 3/4 from the 70s?
Yeah, I love those shirts, man.
Okay.
They're the best.
Yeah, I used to be able to go to the gas station and because my stepdad worked at a gas station, we would do the heat transfers. You know, the people would come in and get with their trucker hats. They get the 3/4 shirts with the Ayatollah is an Assahola transfer on it because, you know, it was the 70s.
Well, you know how I got my first raglan? I believe they're called raglans. If I'm getting it wrong, it's a different name. It's got a specific term to it, but I'm pretty sure that's it. My first one, also in the 70s, my dad worked for, it was PSA at the time, and then they got bought out by US Air, but he worked in air cargo. And a box full of Journey raglan t-shirts, touring t-shirts, got lost, and he brought them home, and I wore them incessantly.
Oh. See, I figured you'd have gotten one of the one that said like female body inspector or something like that to wear around Disney.
Yeah, no, I didn't even discover those shirts until I moved to Venice Beach. All those shops have those, you know, like, let me clear off a place for you to sit. It's got a guy brushing off his beard on the shirt. You know, all those classy shirts that you used to be able to get down at Venice.
The Weinstein collection, we call them now.
Yes, the anti-woke brigade. Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. So what else we got?
All right, we got some follow-up. Canada's finally getting into the banning social media for kids. Manitoba, which is a province, which I actually learned this week.
You didn't know Manitoba was a province?
No, I knew that actually. My kids my kids having to study them, so learn all the provinces and the capitals for each. And as I'm about to become a citizen, I will have to take a test. So I was learning too.
You're actually going to become a Canadian citizen. Congrats.
Yes, I am. Paperwork's in. Could take 25 years, but we'll see.
Yeah.
I mean, my kid and my wife are both dual citizens. It's time for me to join the team. So
got it.
Anyways, Manitoba could be the first province here in Canada to establish a social media ban for kids, but the proposal's details aren't clear yet. The province's premier, Wab Kinew, which sounds like a Star Wars character.
Star Wars character, yeah. It's like Mace Windu's like third cousin.
He announced this during a fundraiser event on Saturday and then posted on X that they would put in place a ban for social media and AI chatbots for its youth. There's no elaboration on any details like specific age restrictions or when it'll be introduced or how it's going to be enforced, but joining everybody else along with this, Canada's getting into it, which I believe is the first place in North America. We've been the holdout so far.
Okay.
So, yeah, we'll see. But speaking of that, the Senate Judiciary Committee has unanimously approved a bipartisan bill aimed at requiring AI companies to limit chatbot use among minors in the United States. This proposed legislation would mandate age verification systems for chatbots, as well as prohibiting AI companions for minors and blocking the services from showing younger users sexually explicit content or encouraging self-harm, as they should be doing anyways. But this is what happens when we don't regulate things. They do it anyways. So we'll see. This is just the first step towards AI companies facing any real federal regulation on the subject. The fact that there is unanimous agreement between both parties is not only a miracle in this day and age, but shows that there may be enough support for this to move through the Senate both quickly and successfully. So we'll see.
We have a Senate? When did that happen? I missed that.
Yeah, they don't do
I thought
fucking
they were all
anything else.
Yeah, I know they're on vacation now, so I'm sure that's going to take a while for for that to figure itself out. But it looks like Utah has some lawmakers still around and are still doing dumb shit. Utah is about to test a new approach to internet regulation, and it's going straight after VPNs. Starting May 6th, the state's Online Age Verification Amendments, or SB 73, will hold websites liable for verifying the age of users physically in Utah, even if those users are hiding behind a VPN or a proxy.
Oh, now, how are they supposed to do that then, Jason?
We're going to get to that in a second, Brian. The law also blocks sites with adult content from even explaining how to use a VPN or to bypass age restrictions, raising some obvious First Amendment issues, also some common sense issues.
Yeah, well, when I first went to go set up my first VPN, I also did go to RedTube to figure out how to do so because they have the best instructions.
So there you have it. So instead of banning VPNs outright, Utah is creating a liability trap that could push platforms to block VPN traffic entirely or force age verification on everyone everywhere. So technically, it's a total clusterfuck. Now, blocking VPNs is a game of whack-a-mole because everybody changes their IP addresses all the time, and users will just route around it with either private tunnels or residential proxies, like RedTube probably tells you how to do in great detail. So the likely outcome isn't stopping teens. It's making the internet less private for everyone else and being a general pain in the ass because they're too fucking stupid to understand how the internet works. And if you want the best VPN on the market, go to gog.show/VPN because we're not a spank site and we can tell you how to route around it. So there you go.
I guess we need to put up our instructional page on gog.show.
I think we should probably put that up at some point. Yes. And by the way, hey, John Oliver, thanks for listening to the show, because John Oliver this week took direct aim at the AI industry on Last Week Tonight. I generally don't watch that show anymore, but I did check this one out, and he basically summed up the past 2 years of our show in 27 minutes. So good for him. I'm glad everybody jumped on it, and we're like, yeah, what John said. I'm like,
kind of late to the party, pal.
He's always late to the party, especially on this one. But literally, it was beat for beat for beat. Everything, every news story that we've ever covered in summation was that episode. So, yeah. So just everybody that's saying, hey, did you check out John Oliver? I didn't have to check it out, but I checked it out anyway. But we cover this shit every fucking week. So, yeah. AI bad. Chatbots bad. Kids die. People shoot each other. Sam Altman goes, what, me? There you go. Summed it up. Saved you a click.
Don't forget the vacuuming up of the money.
Oh, the vacuuming up of the money. Yes.
And then the firing of the people. Then wondering where the money's going to keep coming from that they're vacuuming up.
Yeah. Well, it comes in one door, goes out the next, and goes around the back and come in the butt and out the mouth. And yeah. It is the human centipede of venture capital is what it is. So I did get a class action lawsuit settlement this week, Brian, for $21.07 from the Birch Communications class action settlement.
Okay.
I had to look it up. I still don't quite know what it is. I think it's spam calls. It's basically what it is. So, but sign up for those class actions, people. It's your duty. It is your duty.
It's your moral imperative.
Yeah, and I mean, it used to be 7 cents. Now it's $21.07. But with inflation, thanks to the don't call it a war, it is still 7 cents.
Yeah,
yeah.
That and another $20 will get you a gallon of gas.
In the news.
Well, who could have possibly seen this coming? United States soldier Gannon Ken Van Dyke has been arrested and charged for placing bets on prediction marketplace Polymarket using classified information he had access to related to the capture of former Venezuelan President Nicolas Maduro. What?
Yep. Yeah. Well, we knew it happened.
What?
Now we finally have a face with the thing.
Yes, the U.S. Army Special Forces Master Sergeant, who was directly involved with the planning and execution of the operation, allegedly made $409,881 in profits betting on the information he had access to that nobody else did. According to the Department of Justice, he created a Polymarket account around December 26, 2025, and made 13 bets related to Maduro from December 27th to January 2nd. Not going to get into all the specific ones. It's all in the thing. He allegedly bet a total of $33,000 and $33,034 and made over 10 times that amount from his winnings. He withdrew his market from Polymarket on the day Maduro was captured and sent it to, wait for this one, a crypto vault. Because what's crypto good for, Jason?
Yeah. Criminals.
before depositing it into a new online brokerage account. After reports about the potential insider bets were published, he allegedly asked Polymarket to delete his account, falsely claiming that he had lost access to the email he used. So please delete that account. He also changed the email address linked to the crypto account to another one not associated with his name. He has been charged with 3 counts of violation against the Commodity Exchange Act, with each one carrying a max sentence of 10 years in prison. He's also been charged with 1 count of wire fraud with a maximum penalty of 20 years in prison, as well as 1 count of unlawful monetary transaction with a max sentence of 10 years. And of course, Polymarket probably charged him $500 and said you can't use the platform for a week.
Where are the counts about, I don't know, violating national security? I don't see
where's the
anything
court
in there
martial
about that.
charges? Where's all of the...
Yeah, there's a lot that goes into this that is not listed in here.
Kidding, Keg's Breath probably slapped him on the back and said, "Good work, kid."
Yeah, yeah. Where's my cut?
Where's my where do I get to dip my beak in?
Exactly. That's how this administration works. If you don't get it, that's probably the only reason he got busted is because he didn't pay. He didn't got to pay up the chain.
Yeah, got to pay up the chain, kid.
Mm-hmm. Well,
so yeah, I mean,
this is just good. It's all these things are good for. It's all they're good for.
Again, we just have this continuing run of things that are good for nothing but crime. Nothing but crime. Nothing but crime and grift. That is all the new technologies. It used to be porn, Jason. What was the bleeding edge of technology? It was titties. What is it now? Crime.
Yeah. So sad. So sad. And there was a report that
the
came
world
out
was nicer when it was about titties, Jason.
Oh, Brian, it's always nicer when it's about titties. Come on. There was a report that did come out this week. I don't know if you saw that about most of the people on these predictive markets basically are losers. And the only people that make money are the people basically with inside information on what they're trying to do. So, or hair dryers, if you're hair dryers. Well, Meta is facing scrutiny after ending a contract with outsourcing firm Sama that will result in over 1,100 job losses among Kenya-based workers who helped train its AI systems. Now, the move came weeks after reports that some workers were exposed to sensitive and explicit footage captured by users of Meta's AI-enabled smart glasses, including private moments inside homes, like pooping and fucking.
Yeah, so we talked about that a couple shows ago. Yeah.
Yeah. So Meta came and said, "No, you guys, you're fired. You can't. You're not here anymore with us because your people talked." It's not because
it's not because you did it. It's because you told people about it.
That's pretty much it. Meta says it terminated the contract because Sama failed to meet its standards. A claim Sama disputes, stating it consistently met all operational and quality requirements. Now, worker advocacy groups allege that the layoffs were retaliation for speaking out. Duh. But regulators in both the UK and Kenya have launched investigations into privacy concern tied to the glasses. Meta maintains that any human review of content is done with user consent and is standard practice to improve AI performance. I guarantee you most of the people that were fucking on those glasses did not consent to a bunch of Kenyans looking at their footage.
No, they just assumed.
At least not willingly. They got tricked into clicking the EULA.
Yeah, well, I mean, they're not the brightest people then.
They're fucking with Meta glasses on. Come on, they're not the brightest people to begin with.
Unfortunately, they were in the process of procreating. Get more of them. So that's great.
That's it. Idiocracy at work.
Mm-hmm.
Now, Google has reportedly signed a deal with the U.S. Department of Defense, allowing its AI models to be used for classified work, including what's described as, quote, any lawful government purpose. Okay. I didn't know this government
looked at
followed
this government
laws.
recently?
There are no laws. The agreement comes despite internal opposition, with more than 600 employees urging CEO Sundar Pichai to block military use of the company's AI, citing concerns over surveillance and autonomous weapons. Now, the deal places Google alongside OpenAI and xAI, which have also secured Pentagon contracts. Okay. That's what I want to be, right there with xAI and OpenAI. Yeah. While companies say safeguards remain in place, such as limits on mass domestic surveillance and lethal autonomous systems, Google's agreement reportedly does not grant it authority to override government operational decisions, which means go with God.
Yes.
Go with Google.
Have fun.
Go with Google.
Have at it.
Yep.
Do whatever you want. Boy, I miss the days when Google's motto was do no evil.
Oh, that was a long, long time ago.
Mm-hmm.
That was before everybody got rich and crazy, Brian.
Yep.
Right, rich and crazy. But, you have to say, maybe Google needs to do this deal because they're broke, right? That AI costs so much money. Oh, man, we're really, we're strapped for cash, so we got to make this deal with the government. Nope. Google reported its strongest quarterly growth in roughly 4 years, with revenue up 20% in Q1 2026, driven largely by $20 billion from its cloud division and surging demand for AI products. So there you go, Brian. Mm-hmm. They're just doing it to do it. That's it. Right. They're just doing it to do it.
I am curious about this because we start to see this a lot in kind of these vague financial reports from these companies where they talk about they're making a lot more money because of demand, increased demand for these AI products. Yet we're also told that all these AI products are being done at a loss leader where technically they're losing money every time that they fire up these AI machines that they're forcing down our throats anyways. I would also posit to begin with, that the increased surging demand for AI products is because you put that fucking button everywhere, and I don't even want it. When I do a Google search, I have to go out of my way not to use your Google AI results. You're shoving it down our throats. That's why there's increased demand. But aren't you also losing money, but yet you're claiming you're making more money, but you're losing money?
I don't know if Google is losing money because remember, they already own the data centers. They own the chips. They don't have to go to NVIDIA. They've got their TPU chips that they've already been making for years for their machine learning. Say it with me, kids. Machine learning that Google has been doing forever. They've had DeepSeek forever, and they've been working on this for a long time. And these guys know how to build a data center. All these other companies coming in like OpenAI and Anthropic and Perplexity, all these schmoes who are starting from scratch. These guys don't know what the fuck they're doing, and they don't have the infrastructure. That's where the spend is coming in for those guys. Okay. Google has a leg up with everybody. So for them, and since they've made Google suck over the years, people have decided to not use it as much. So they have extra capacity just lying around that they could probably use. And what I'm sure that there is a shit ton of tricky accounting going on here too. That
yes,
like Department A is using Department B's AI chips, even though they're the same company. But they're saying they're like, oh, I'm going to use $20 billion worth of your compute, even though it's my compute to begin with. And then they just put it on the books like it's profit, even though it could just be using the shit that they've already got.
Bucket into bucket into bucket into bucket into bucket into bucket profit.
Exactly. So take that 20 billion at a grain of salt, but still, the fact that they do have the money, they don't need to be signing contracts with the government. They're only doing that to curry favor with the fuckwit in chief right now. So that's it.
Right. Well, keeping on the AI train, 2 months following the deadly shooting in Tumbler Ridge, British Columbia, OpenAI's Sam Altman has formally apologized for not informing police of the alarming ChatGPT conversation seen within the suspect's account. How nice that he said, "I'm sorry," 2 months later, after the lawyers have reviewed everything possible to make sure he could get in absolutely no trouble whatsoever. He opened his mouth and said this very specific statement that they crafted for him with the help of their lawyer AI bot.
Exactly. And also in the interim, while this has been going on, he's been working to steer regulation behind the scenes to make AI companies less culpable for people who go out and shoot people during this whole thing. That he's been working very hard to make sure that they are going to be in the clear in the future, that they're just a fucking platform. So sorry, not sorry, Sam.
And just to clarify this, before the incident, OpenAI knew enough about this guy and this account to ban it before the shooter went off to go shoot people in real life. I am deeply sorry that we did not alert law enforcement to the account that was banned in June, Altman wrote in the letter. While I know words can never be enough, I believe an apology is necessary to recognize the harm and irreversible loss your community has suffered. Ebby, who is the mayor or something? I don't know. Some sort of thing in British Columbia, highlighted the letter on X and agreed that the apology is necessary, but added that it was grossly insufficient for the devastation done to the families of Tumbler Ridge, which I agree with. There should be some sort of lawsuit. Altman reaffirmed in the letter that OpenAI would find ways to prevent tragedies like this in the future and work with all levels of government to prevent something like this from ever happening again. Okay, so do it.
do it, and also take the big dump trucks of money that you've got lying around that you keep saying that you've got and drive some of that up to Tumbler Ridge and dump it on the entire community that you have fucking destroyed. So at least they don't have to worry about where their maple syrup's going to come from for the rest of their lives. Just saying.
That is all Canada produces. We are a big maple syrup factory.
And mooses.
Lumberjacks.
And Tim Horton sandwiches. Oh, man. So a little more Sam Altman news. Tools for Humanity, a startup tied to Sam Altman and his World Identity project, is facing scrutiny after falsely claiming it would sell tickets to a Bruno Mars tour using a new product called Concert Kit. Well, turns out Bruno Mars's management and Live Nation quickly denied any partnership, stating no agreement or even contact had occurred. So the entire thing was fucking made up.
I guess they let their own AI figure out what to do and just made shit up.
Yeah. The company has since updated its website, confirming the claim was inaccurate and shifting to a separate, unrelated partnership with the band 30 Seconds to Mars. The incident
Jared
raises
Leto's band, so that makes sense. He's a piece of fucking work.
Yeah, no doubt. The incident raises questions about credibility, particularly for a company built around verifying human identity through biometric scanning. It also adds to broader criticism of Altman's track record, with past reporting and former employees alleging a pattern of misleading statements on issues ranging from internal policies to long-term AI goals. Now, me personally, Brian, I don't need to ask ChatGPT if this Altman guy is a cancer. Spoiler alert, he is. So, scam Altman. Just full of shit from we didn't really put in any news about the trial right now because it's just kind of ongoing and just a shit show every day. But man, these guys are just pieces of shit all the way down.
That is the thing from the trial.
Down.
I haven't really, I kind of want to let it get along a little bit further before we do talk about it. But wow, nobody looks good.
No.
Yeah.
Nobody. Well, we knew that. We fucking knew that.
I know, but usually when you have kind of these battles of the titans, it's like, oh, well, at least Godzilla's not so bad. But in this case, yeah, Elon and they all just look horrible.
They're petty little shits. They're petty little shits with way too much money and way too much power and way, way too little empathy for their fellow man. So. A little more OpenAI news. OpenAI and Microsoft had amended one of the most important partnerships in AI, ending Microsoft's exclusive hold on OpenAI's models. Microsoft will still keep licensing rights to OpenAI's IP and models through 2032, and Azure remains OpenAI's primary cloud partner. But that license is now non-exclusive, meaning OpenAI can serve its products through other cloud providers. The change clears the way for OpenAI models to run on Amazon Bedrock, following a reported $50 billion Amazon OpenAI deal. So Amazon gives them $50 billion, so OpenAI can spend $200 billion on compute that they're just going to get the money back, but then own. I don't know how there's going to be anything left of OpenAI with all these fucking deals they're doing to sell off pieces of their company to spend more than they've already made. It does not make any fucking rational sense.
Well, here's the deal, Jason. They have sold off 2,000% of their company, but they still hold 10,000% of it.
Okay.
This is Trump
works.
math.
That works. Microsoft had reportedly threatened legal action over that arrangement, but the new agreement appears to resolve the issue. OpenAI will continue paying Microsoft a 20% revenue share, but with an unspecified cap at a guarantee only through 2030, if OpenAI is in existence 4 more years from now, which is very tenuous. We don't know if OpenAI is going to make it another 4 years.
Not when they keep making these deals. There are 3 clear winners right now in this area. You've got Google, which is just to your point earlier. They've just got more money than God, so it doesn't matter. And people need to use their compute power. Microsoft has been very strategic about making these deals. They're not getting into it too much themselves, but they're taking the monies. We'll give you some money as long as you give up that money back plus more. That's what they're doing. And obviously NVIDIA, who's just selling to everybody left, right, and center. They're the winners. One could also argue Apple has stayed the hell out of this mess and is just waiting until the dust settles.
Yeah, which was the smartest move that they could do.
Yep.
Oh, but here's an interesting part that I really found I really enjoyed this. The amended deal also removes the old dependency on OpenAI's progress towards AGI, giving OpenAI more flexibility as enterprise demand expands beyond Azure. Now, this is because we all finally know that LLMs aren't actually intelligent, and that scam has been blown out of the fucking water, and AGI is in no way, shape, or form ever going to come from an LLM, which is basically a word prediction model. It's not intelligence. So Microsoft has finally pulled that out and saying, you know what, if we take this out, then you guys can go try and make more money from the enterprise clients, because that's the only place that you're going to make money. But Anthropic is eating your lunch right now, so maybe go get back to work.
All right. Well, we may never get AGI, but we do seem to have our goblins, Jason.
Yeah, the goblin issue.
A document posted by OpenAI on GitHub as part of the open sourcing for Codex CLI, OpenAI's most recent flagship coding agent, contains what looks like the entire system prompt for GPT 5.5 in a coding context. And there's some choice segments in here. I'll read this part. Provide the highest signal context instead of describing everything exhaustively. Tone of your final answer must match your personality. Never talk about goblins, gremlins, raccoons, trolls, ogres, pigeons, or other animals or creatures unless it is absolutely necessary and unambiguously related to the user's query.
Yep.
They then bring it up again later. For example, never use platitudes like I will do this good thing rather than this obviously bad thing. I will do X, not Y. Never talk about goblins, gremlins, raccoons, trolls, ogres, pigeons, or other animals or creatures unless it is absolutely and unambiguously relevant to the user's query. Nobody knows why. Apparently, there was some sort of geek mode that you could put in that it got rewarded and rewarded and rewarded, which again shows you it's a LLM. It's a prediction machine. Things that get multiple hits get returned more and more and more often. So, and that's exactly how this got in there. So bad that there was a basically Goblin Mode meme that was going around. Somebody tried to code in a Goblin Mode on-off switch, and the internet basically had a field day.
Yeah. Yeah, no, it was great. Yeah, I think it was Nerd Mode.
Nerd Mode, yes.
Yeah, because I had that turned on, because they took it away a couple months ago, but I had that turned on because when you could set all the different types of different ways that it could reply to you, you could specify. If you go into the ChatGPT settings interface in the desktop app, you can switch on a whole bunch of stuff, but it basically reinforced itself by fucking around with it. It's just like, oh, okay. Idiots. Well, this is a blast from the past. Sam Bankman-Fried's latest attempt to overturn his fraud conviction has been rejected after the former FTX CEO submitted court filings he largely wrote himself, reportedly with the help from his lawyer parents. U.S. District Judge
wrote himself or used an LLM to write?
Yeah. Well, I don't even know if he's got.
He's not supposed to have access to a computer, right?
Exactly. Yeah, he had problems getting access to a computer, so he probably did have to write it himself, which is why it failed so miserably. U.S. District Judge Lewis Kaplan dismissed the motion, characterizing it as part of a broader effort by Bankman-Fried to rehabilitate his public image, referencing a 2020 document outlining unconventional reputation recovery strategies. At the center of the filing was a claim that FTX's Chapter 11 bankruptcy destroyed hidden liquidity that could have repaid customers in full, an argument prosecutors previously called factually wrong and misleading. Bankman-Fried also cited two supposed new witnesses, but prosecutors noted both were known to the defense before trial, undermining that argument. The judge further denied Bankman-Fried's attempt to withdraw the motion, despite his claims that the court would be biased. Bankman-Fried was convicted on 7 counts of fraud and conspiracy tied to the collapse of FTX and misuse of customer funds, and has not been able to come up with the payday to give to Trump to get his ass pardoned. So he's going to be fucked forever.
Pretty much.
Fine with me.
Yep. Bye-bye. We've talked about the dead internet theory quite a few times on the show, and apparently we're 17% of the way to that becoming reality.
Feels like 170%.
It sure does, especially on social media. I think we already have dead social media, but this is the internet as a whole. More than a third of new websites on the internet have been created by AI, according to a paper published online by researchers from Imperial College London, Stanford University, and the Internet Archive. The study is based on data collected by the Internet Archive's Wayback Machine from late 2022 when ChatGPT kicked off the AI craze to the mid-2025. As of May 2025, researchers found that 35.3% of all newly published websites on the internet were created with the assistance of AI, including 17.6% of websites that were completely AI generated. So we're almost there. Cloudflare reported in September 2025 that nearly 1/3 of all internet traffic is driven by bots. And a few days later, the company's CEO, Matthew Prince, appeared on a podcast to share his frighteningly likely forecast that AI will completely change the way information is shared online and concentrate power over this online knowledge in the hands of a few tech giants. That's happened.
Yeah.
An even earlier report from data security company Imperva claimed that automated surfing surpassed human activity on the internet for the first time back in 2024, making up roughly half of all web traffic. The report concluded this was largely driven by the rapid adoption of AI and large language models. So yeah, we're there, man. Most of the internet is already nothing but bots.
Yeah, but I see it. I mean, I can't look at even comments on a website, like just any kind of news website where they have comments turned on. I started to look at the comments on. I'm like, that's a bot. That's a bot. That's a bot. There's no way that people are saying that shit. And if they are, God, I hope they're bots.
And even a little bit of doom scrolling, you just start to see the same exact post with the same exact wording by multiple accounts. And you're like, bot, 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 bot. I trust nobody. I don't trust anything anymore. I'm going to go live in a fucking cave. Fuck this shit. Fuck it. I'm out.
See, I think it's time to really look at bringing back the indie web and individual websites and blogs, for fun and connection to other people like we used to have, and let's use this last gasp of cheap AI bullshittery to build our own tools to bring it around, because WordPress is a fucking dinosaur, and more about WordPress in a second. But we have an opportunity right now to take back that conversation that we used to have with blogs and people connecting the way we used to do it, without all these fucking assholes getting in the way. Because, just if you take away the profit motive, the web can still be fun, Brian. It used to be fun. We used to have a lot of fucking fun together with all the people that we knew. It was just people, not fucking profit. So I think that there's an opportunity there for sure. So
we're all going to have the time. None of us are going to have jobs.
None of us are going to have jobs. But it's WordPress. Speaking of WordPress, Matt Mullenweg is raising concern that WordPress's own development culture is holding it back. He argues that an overly bureaucratic, consensus-driven approach to open source has led to slow progress and uninspired releases. According to Mullenweg, requiring broad agreement on every decision discourages bold ideas and makes meaningful innovation difficult. He suggests that the biggest breakthroughs are often non-consensus and require accepting some level of risk and failure. Just what you'd expect from a rich guy who has to make concessions to the little people to say the things that he's saying. Now, I'd like to point out, Brian, any flaw in how WordPress operates goes right back to Matt, since it's his fucking baby.
I was about to say,
the fucking thing.
Didn't he? And wasn't there this big brouhaha just a while ago where he said, "This is my company. We're going to do it my way, and if you don't want to do it that way, suck it, and you can go. You can quit the job."
Exactly. So why is he going back and forth saying that, he needs more power when he's got all the power, I'm sure that there's some shit out there, because he opens half of WordPress is open source there with the GPL and all the other shit that I don't even know what license WordPress is released under anymore, because I couldn't give a flying fuck less about it. But talk about sorry, Matt, take your hundreds of millions of dollars and just fucking go away. You piss me off.
And let WordPress die.
Yeah, seriously. I have bought two very rich people in the world their first lap dance. He's the poorest of the two. The first one was Evan Williams. We're worth $2 billion. I bought him his first lap dance. And Matt Mullenweg, I bought you as your first lap dance. So both of you guys never paid me back for those, by the way. So go fuck off.
All right. As reported by several outlets, the Trump administration has dismissed members of the National Science Board, which is tasked with establishing policies for the National Science Foundation. It's not clear how many members have been dismissed, but they established policies for the NSF, the independent U.S. agency responsible for apportioning about 25% of federal support towards research conducted by the country's colleges and universities. This foundation has been around for over 75 years and has contributed to the development of MRIs, cell phones, and other massive breakthroughs that affect our lives every goddamn day. So, of course, we don't need them anymore. Screw them.
Nope.
Get rid of them.
Tools.
In response, Congressman Zoe Lofgren called the latest decision a real bozo the clown move in a statement. This is the latest stupid move made by a president who continues to harm science and American innovation, said Lofgren, who serves as the ranking member of the House's Science, Space, and Technology Committee. So she made no thing or two about this. It is unfortunately no surprise a president who has attacked the NSF from day one would seek to destroy the board that helps guide the foundation. So that's just great.
Peachy. So much for ending on a high note this week.
Oops. Couldn't find one.
Ups and doodads.
Well, Brian, a new Vine reboot called Divine has launched publicly, bringing back the 6-second looping video format along with a large archive of original content. The app includes roughly 500,000 restored Vine videos sourced from the community backups with associated engagement data partially reconstructed. Backed by Jack Dorsey and his beard through his nonprofit and other stuff. Clever. The project is positioned as an experimental effort rather than a commercial venture aiming to revisit the decision to shut Vine down. Divine also allows users to create and upload new short-form videos with features like compilation mode for continuous playback of themed clips. A key focus is limiting AI-generated content. Sure, users must record videos in-app or verify uploads using provenance standards like C2PA. Built on decentralized social protocols, including Nostr, with potential support for others, Divine is framed as part of a broader push towards open social media infrastructure. The app is free and currently rolling out via waitlist and invite codes. So all of the shit that those people made are being brought back from the dead. So nothing is truly ever deleted, Brian, ever.
Or relevant anymore.
Yeah. See,
wherefore art thou Quibi? I can't wait.
Dude, Netflix just rolled out vertical videos in their new app. That's coming out. Everybody's moving towards these short form vertical videos. And, Vine was ahead of the curve back then. Quibi was ahead of the curve. Everybody now is just seeing all of the money that is being spent in China, billions of dollars in China on short form vertical videos. And they think that this is going to be a hit here now. I am not seeing. Here's what I am seeing. I am seeing studios galore start making these videos and shit. Nobody is watching. That's what I'm seeing. You find me one human being in the United States of America who is into vertical videos, and I may change my mind. Have you seen anything up there in Canada?
I mean, reels are huge, and nobody's got the attention span anymore. But I think the difference is people just want other normal people doing it. It's that connection thing. They want to see other normal people doing it. They don't want to see produced things. But I could be wrong. I don't know.
Yeah,
what the hell do I know? I hate it all. So
yeah, the Chinese side is micro dramas. You know, so it is a drama basically 90 second clips that is super engineered for engagement, and that's what we're going to start seeing.
Zero interest.
Yeah, less than zero, especially when you have to pay for each chapter. And I've watched some of them. They're fucking horrendous. They are fucking horrendous. But bringing back Vine is just like, look, let it die. Let it fucking die. You already did once. Why not do it again?
Yeah, and it will again. All of this has happened before, Jason.
Yeah, let's go find Kevin Rose. He's working on Dig 4.0, so maybe he can throw something in there.
Divine is going to get plucked eventually. It's just going to be gone again. Well, Apple reportedly plans to fix bugs and expand the capabilities of Apple Intelligence with the release of iOS 27, iPad OS 27, and Mac OS 27. It's so nice to just say the year, I guess. And it seems like tweaks to the company's AI could go beyond a mere functional version of its Siri assistant. You can currently use Photos app across Apple's operating systems to adjust things like saturation and contrast, apply filters, crop photos, or use AI to remove objects with the cleanup tool. Cleanup will apparently be one of several Apple Intelligence tools after these new updates roll out. Along with Cleanup, users will be able to expand the background of the photo with generative AI enhanced to automatically improve things like lighting and image quality, and reframe to shift the perspective of a photo after it's taken, primarily for Apple's spatial photos. So I guess that's nice. This will bring it along more in line with competitors like Google and Samsung, which have this stuff out there already on their phones. Yeah, we'll see. But Apple is still kind of hedging their bets against entirely generated images. They don't let you do that yet. Other than new photo tools, they're going to debut their new version of Siri, powered by Google's Gemini models, standalone Siri app, and AI-powered search inside its apps. So
I hate this.
I
hate
hope we get to
everything
turn
about
it all off.
Yeah, I mean, these kids are going to be so screwed up because they're going to see their family photos and it's going to be so different from what they remember. You know, that the cognitive dissonance is going to be through the roof, the fucking roof.
I don't remember mom having 3 breasts, said the kid who found his ex-AI's dad's phone.
Seriously.
One's for dancing, kid. Anyways, old joke. Google Photos is adding a new AI feature this summer. This is called Wardrobe, which will create a digital closet for your clothing and jewelry, making it easier to organize them and pick what to wear. This feature discovers your clothes by scanning your Google Photos library, then creates a catalog of your items organized by categories, tops, bottoms, jewelry, etc. From there, you can mix and match items to create outfits, sharing them with friends, or saving to a digital mood board. There's also a try-on feature. XAI also has that, except they call it a take-off feature.
Yeah.
Like a corresponding feature in Google Shopping, it will generate a photo of you wearing the clothes you chose. Interesting that they mentioned Google Shopping there, because I wonder what the end game of this app is going to be.
Yep.
Here is your wardrobe. Here is the Google Shop recommendations for things that will go with the clothes that you already have or the items that are stored in wardrobe. Here is the shopping link to buy immediately. Smart.
Yeah, I hate that it discovers your clothes by scanning your Google Photos library. That is creepy. To me, that's the creepiest part of this. Not that remember the Amazon, or was it Amazon or Facebook? The does my ass look fat camera where you can try on clothes. I can't remember. It was such a horrible idea.
It was Meta.
Yeah, it was Meta. Yeah. I think it was back then. It was still Facebook, but
yeah. They weren't Meta yet.
No. Oh man, I do have a hardware recommendation. The Logitech MX Keys S keyboard. Now, I didn't want to get another keyboard this week. That was the last thing I wanted to spend money on. But my Apple keyboard, I had one of the Apple Magic Keys keyboard, and I had the fancy black one when they first came out. It shit the bed. All the keys on the right side decided to work about 30% of the time. It was like I was trying to use generative AI to write an email. It worked when it felt like working. So I had to buckle down and get a new keyboard. And I'm actually working on the original MX Keys now. That's my office keyboard. So I got the MX Keys S for the bedroom because that's all they have now. It's nicer, actually. It's heavier, which I really like. I like a heavy keyboard. And the keys are brighter. Like the backlit is brighter. Otherwise, I think it is exactly the same as the MX Keys. But I love these. I'm not getting Apple keyboards anymore. I
mean, this looks really nice. When my Apple keyboard shits the bed, I'm going to get one of these.
Oh yeah, dude, I've been using this one for like 2 years. It's my favorite keyboard, hands down. And you pair that with the MX mice. The cool thing about them is they all have 3 different pairing settings. So you can take this and pair it with your desktop, or pair it with your laptop, or pair it with another laptop with one set. So, and it takes a second to switch. You just press the button and then you just switch to the other one. Yeah, it's phenomenal.
It's super convenient. We've got the mouse here, and my wife and I kind of hotbox and share this upstairs office. So it's really convenient just to hit the button. Of course, my wife always forgets to hit the button, so she's down, or I forget to switch it before I leave. So I'm down on working on my laptop when she takes over, and all of a sudden the mouse is going all over my screen.
It's possessed. It's possessed.
Yeah, but it's a great feature, and it's really useful. So yeah, I think this keyboard is definitely on my list. Gonna bookmark
and it's $119 for a really quality keyboard. Like I said, the MX one that I'm using right now, so shows no sign of wear or tear. It's an awesome keyboard. So there's my tip of the week.
Media Candy.
Star Trek Strange New Worlds is returning for its penultimate season, July 23rd. Not that far away right now. So this will be the 4th season of the planned 5 before they kill all Star Trek TV shows. Thanks a lot, Paramount.
Yep. Appreciate it.
We're getting 10 episodes that'll air weekly until September 24th. And the first official teaser is out, which was, it looks like less singing and dancing in this particular season. We'll see.
Yeah. Yeah, hopefully they fixed the problem with season 3, which was just the discombobulated nature of where these fucking stories went. They said they were going to, so.
Yeah.
And yeah, the last season 5 will be 6 episodes. So we get 16 episodes left, which is going to be sad.
That is sad. That's too bad.
Yeah.
And I stumbled across a kind of fun article, if you like your Star Trek history and the real world and how it all came together over at Gizmodo, how the comm badge became the ultimate wearable of the Star Trek universe. It's just a fun read. Links in the show notes.
Cool. Check it out.
Daredevil. I was worried that we had seen all we were going to see of Jessica Jones, but she looks like she's back, at least for the last few episodes. We'll see what happens.
Yeah. Nice to see her around, obviously. Yeah, it was a good episode, I thought.
I thought decent. So too. So I we'll see. I kind of feel like they should wrap it, but I know they're going to do another season. So
okay, has it been picked up yet?
I'm pretty sure. I thought I saw that it did, but then again, we haven't talked about it on the show, so maybe that was wine-induced Jessica Jones dreaming.
That was just you in the middle of the night going, I can't wait for more Jessica Jones.
And a hat tip to Super Dave Bittner. I saw he posted this on his Facebook account. Ted Lasso Season 4, the official teaser trailer is out. They're returning August 5th. Again, I have my reservations about this. I think we had declining returns on the Ted Lasso seasons as they went along. Although the fact that they're having him come back to coach a women's team opens up lots of good comedic possibilities. So, I mean, at the end of the day, it's good writers. We'll see. I
did not get the feels from this trailer at all. I was just like, I've seen it. It's the same, you know.
Yeah.
It's tough.
It's going to be tough. They're never going to, you know, this is one of those Beatles, good thing they split up. The Police quitting after Synchronicity. You know, at some point you just got to go, we're never going to reach these heights again. Maybe we should just call it a day.
Yeah, but then there's the money.
There's money.
There's Apple money behind this, you know, and Jason Sudeikis probably wants to have a bigger house or, you know, look, I can't blame him for trying to feed a whole bunch of people because it does take a whole bunch of people to make these shows. So, you know, from just an economic standpoint, good on you for making the jobs. And we don't have to watch it if we don't want to, I guess.
I suppose, but you know, we all are.
Totally going to watch it. Yeah. Fuck yeah. It comes out on my birthday. You know, come on.
At the library.
Brian, I finished God's Junk Drawer by Peter Clines.
A lot of rubber bands, some batteries.
Kind of dinosaurs and things like that, too. Peter wrote the X-Heroes series that we covered on the show when it was
Trump's
being released way back in the... Oh, yeah, that's just junk, not even in a junk drawer.
Forgot to put
do you remember the X-Heroes series?
I do. I really did enjoy that series, and I remember trying to read something else he did that was not X-Heroes and giving it a big old meh.
See, I don't know which one that was because after that he wrote 14, which is a fantastic book, The Fold, which was great, Dead Moon, which is great, and Terminus, which was great. These are all very Lovecraftian melded themes with parallel universes and all that. And I love all of those books, and I loved X-Heroes. And God's Junk Drawer took me a little while to get into. And once I got into it, like about, 15% into it, it really picked up and I finally got it. Because at the beginning, it started, it's kind of like a Land of the Lost kind of thing at the beginning.
God, I hated that show.
The Slee Stacks, man. It's all about the Slee Stacks. But it totally pivots pretty right away. And then you kind of see what's going on. But it still keeps going until the end. And it is great sci-fi. It is fantastic sci-fi. So it was thoroughly satisfying. I highly recommend this book. And it's a standalone. There's not going to be any no sequels. It's just a one and done. So if you want a really good read, highly recommend it.
All right. I'll have to give him another chance. Because I really did. I love the X-Hero series. That was a lot of fun.
It was. And like I said, those other Lovecraftian, they're called the Threshold Universe series with the 14, The Fold, Dead Moon, and Terminus. All 4 of those books together, I think they were all solid. So they all kind of play together. So if you're looking for a short series, those were good. A series that's not so short, The Murderbot Diaries. Martha Wells says that she may be approaching its conclusion. I'm guessing the checks are probably starting to run out then because why would you stop?
The big check. You got the big payoff. You got the series made out of it. It doesn't get any better than that.
Apple series.
Yes.
So the big money, which is coming back. So
I can see this. I've read every single one of the Murderbot Diaries. I enjoy them. I don't know where else. I feel like she's explored that concept as much as you can.
Yeah. So you read all 8 books?
Well, not the newest one because that's Audible only right now, right? Or
I don't know. I stopped at 4.
I've read them all.
I actually read those on Kindle.
I read every single one that's out. So.
Oh, okay. And they're still good. Oh, maybe I will have to check them back out.
Yeah, they're not bad. Again, like I said, it's like you're starting to run out of ideas. It's a pretty solid concept, but when you're 8 books in, what else you got?
Yeah. Yeah, and that's the other thing too. Is like I didn't want to go. I started to go the Audible route, and I'm like, in my head, in the books, when I read the books, Murderbot was a chick.
Yep, Murderbot's a chick.
That's the problem I had with Skarsgård being the Murderbot in the series. So I think I kind of put them as 2 separate entities together. You know, it's like there's the TV show, which is a completely different thing than the books. Yeah. But that's just me, I guess. Or maybe not, because you thought so too. So anyway, we'll see how it goes. So good luck, Martha.
The Dark Side. Ha! With Dave.
Welcome to The Dark Side with Dave, with the podcaster who never sleeps, Dave Bittner. Hi, Dave.
Hello.
So I was doing something last night. I was going through some of our artwork because we have new merch out, which we've been talking about. So everybody should go buy it, shop.gog.show. And in making that new merch, I had new characters that I came up with for me and Brian, you know, some grumpy dudes that kind of expand a little bit on the our current ancient logo that was done 13 years ago by the lovely Wendy Marvel. And I'm like, well, if I can use some of these for the show art, well, then we need a Dave too. So I asked the monsters in the machine to whip up a character sheet for me, Brian, and you, Dave. And I thought you came out looking so good that I had to post it here. I'll put this in the Discord channel too. But you look very dapper in our character sheet show notes.
Thank you.
Here.
No, I do. I'm pleased with this.
I like your concerned view.
Yes.
That is my favorite.
Yeah. I've dropped a few pounds, which is nice. Always nice.
That's what AI is good for.
Hey,
yep.
Yeah.
It had you in a hoodie originally.
Oh, really?
And I'm like, no, Dave wears black buttons down, so we'll put him in the black button down.
That's funny.
But I used the new ChatGPT image 2.0 with your profile picture, and this is what it came up with. So
yeah, I was going to say that definitely looks like my profile picture. So no, I like it. It's full speed ahead. I guess I'm the only one of the group who actually has a human head.
Yeah, we are. Jason and I seem to be rounded Lego heads.
Right.
Yeah.
Yes, we're the grumpy, smiley, not smiley. But here's the funny part. So I built this character sheet. So I told ChatGPT, I'm like, make me a character sheet that I can use with you when I want to make characters for artwork that we're going to use later for show art for YouTube, because we have to make the YouTube show art every week. So it created this for me. And immediately when I tried to use it, it did not work at all. All of us came out looking like Brian. That was it. There's 3 Brians giving us the stink eye.
Oh, you should all be so lucky.
I know.
Yeah. So
at least he's
that
not
was
smoking anymore. That's good.
Yeah.
Yeah. Got rid of that. Yeah.
Yeah, I think that only made it till season 2 or year 2 of the show, and then he quit. We had to take it out. Brian's like, "Take out my cigarette. I'm gonna have a kid. I'm getting married and all this shit or whatever."
Well, the poster I have, the Grumpy Old Geeks poster I have, Brian is still smoking. So
must have been one of the OGs. Yeah,
the OGs. Yeah.
I still have some of those stickers sitting around too. Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
So I have to run something by you as well, because last week you talked about, Dave, about, you know, how we're always all feeling scared all the time, and it, you know, that fight or flight, you know, reaction is playing heavily on us because of our use of social media.
Mm-hmm.
I was driving back from my friend's house this week. I got my first singing lesson this week.
Congratulations! First
no,
ever?
it wasn't great. Yeah, my first ever.
Oh, congratulations! That's great.
We got through the second song, and he's like, "Yeah, your pitch sucks. Go home and work on your pitch."
Oh,
so
that surprises
constructive
me.
criticism.
It's a friend. I'm having a friend teach me how to sing, so it's like he's brutally honest, which I think is better than, someone that's just trying to take my money. But I fix his computer. He's teaching me how to sing. But on the way home, I'm pulling up to my house, and there was a PSA on the radio that was an educational PSA about, so you've got a new set of friends. You and your wife are going to a cocktail party with you, your wife, and your kids at a new friend's house. Now, before you take your kids to that new friend's house, how do you ask those friends about their unsecured firearms? This is how you ask people how they have unsecured firearms in their home. You call them up and you say, hey, Judy, I can't wait to come over to the party tomorrow night. But, we're bringing our kids, and kids are curious, so they're going to be exploring. And I just wanted to know, how do you handle unsecured firearms in your home?
Yeah.
And Judy should have said,
new relationship.
Judy should have said, well, you should be wrangling your fucking kids and not letting them run amok in my home, which would have been the first answer. But then Judy comes back and said, all of our firearms are secured in fireproof safes that have biometric locks and are out of reach of children. This was an actual PSA on the radio.
In California.
In California. It is the most dystopian thing that I've heard. Well, in the last 2.5 years,
at least a minute.
Yeah. But I was just floored. I just didn't know if you guys had heard this. I'm sure, Brian, you're not going to hear this, but Dave, this might be in your neck of the woods because it was on a national radio station. So
no, I haven't heard it. But honestly, it has been so long since I've listened to the radio.
Oh.
I realized recently I got a new car about 1.5 years ago, and I have yet to program radio stations in on it.
Wow.
Yeah. Just hasn't come up.
Right.
Yeah. Okay.
Well, here's my phone connects automatically to my car too, so I never listen to the radio. It's just all right. Well, what podcast was I listening to, or which playlist do I want to start, or my kids' music that I'm going to have to play? Those are the choices. So, we don't have that problem up here, Jason, because there are no guns, but they do have is your moose properly pent up in the back?
There you go. Yeah.
And various is the maple syrup secured because we wouldn't want any accidents. That's what happens here. But yeah, that's pretty goddamn dystopian.
Oh shit.
There is only one person's house that I've ever been to that, as far as I'm aware of, actually had a gun, and that was your house, Jason.
Okay. There you go.
None of my other friends have owned any, so this has never come up. Yeah.
I think I have a picture of you with that gun too.
I think you do.
Yeah.
You're probably gun in one hand and a bottle of Zane Lamprey's spiced rum in the other hand.
Oh, that was good stuff.
That was really good stuff.
Yeah.
This reminds me of when my kids were little, I want to say elementary school age, and we had some friends over, and the friend also had kids and brought their kids over who were around the same age as mine. And the friend pulled me aside and basically read me the riot act because we had Nerf guns.
Oh my God.
And her children were being raised without guns, and it was not cool for me to not warn her that we had guns. And I was like,
yeah,
they're Nerf guns. they're Nerf guns. They shoot little foam ball. So.
I mean, there's a thing. I mean, I remember my wife was particularly, she was aware of the fact that there would be no avoiding this, that if this stuff didn't happen, then, our son would just pick up a stick and pretend it was a gun or a lightsaber or whatever. But I do remember, when Lucas was very young, she was very like, how long can we hold off on introducing guns to the kid? And I get that, but at a certain age, it's just like, I'm sorry, this is the world.
Yeah.
Yeah.
See, I come from a place where all kids learned how to shoot when we were very young, and we got a respect for guns. We knew how to use a gun, so if we saw a gun, we weren't scared of it. We knew what to do with it. And people who keep their kids away from guns are probably the same people that keep their kids away from peanuts, which is why peanuts kill fucking kids now too. So teach your kid how to use a gun and eat a fucking peanut, and the world will be a better, safer place. That's my point of view. But hey,
toy gun. I had many toy guns. Of course, we had cowboy. Pistols. I had a toy M16 where you pulled the trigger and it went.
Yep. I had one of those too. Yeah,
plastic one, and then I had a metal. I guess it was a shotgun, but it was an air gun. Didn't shoot anything. It just made a pop sound, and and blew air out the front. But of course, we immediately learned that if you shoved the nose of it into the mud, you get a nice little mud thing on the end there, and then you cock it and you shoot it, and the mud would fly out of the front of the gun. So there you go.
Yeah. I
Fun.
mean,
good
you
stuff.
can't avoid this stuff. It's popular culture. It's everywhere. It is what it is. So yeah.
So Dave, you should have secured your Nerf guns, is what we learned from the PSA today.
In a biometric fireproof locker, please.
Right. Yeah. So what are you gonna do?
Well, I discovered a new podcast, Dave, and this might be of interest to you. We are Disney freaks. We love everything Disney and Disneyland and all that. And let me tell you, there are thousands of podcasts about Disneyland, and invariably, almost every single one of them is fucking horrible. From the brief sampling that I've done so far, they're either poorly recorded, they're in windswept tunnels, they have no idea what they're doing, they're not engaging personalities, or their content is crap. But I did manage to stumble across one more that I've actually found to be quite good, at least so far, and this one's called The Backside of Water, a podcast that delves into the rich history, awesome stories, and fascinating details behind your favorite Disneyland attractions. So it's kind of like a beefed up, non-Disney approved behind the attraction that they have on Disney Plus. And as you guessed from the title, both hosts have worked as Jungle Cruise operators, so they have personalities. The quality of the recording is quite good and not annoying. And so far, from the 2 or 3 episodes I've listened to, it's pretty good. Like I'm enjoying it so far.
I just added it to my my podcast list, so I will check it out.
Yep.
I would know I had a former intern who went on to become a Jungle Cruise skipper in Florida, and just noteworthy that they didn't used to allow women to become Jungle Cruise skippers because obviously women can't be funny.
Or hold a gun.
Or drive.
Right, hold a gun. Yeah, it was funny. Like, originally they would shoot at the animals.
Mm-hmm.
Now they just shoot to scare them away.
They would originally shoot at the hippos. Now they shoot up in the air because that's how times have changed. Yes.
Right. And then just noteworthy, my wife was a backstage studio tour guide when she did college program at the studios. The studios were pretty new back then.
Nice.
So she did the thing where you go through Catastrophe Canyon and, on the left is the Golden Girls house and all that sort of stuff. So she had to memorize I think it was like a half-hour script.
Yeah.
But she enjoyed that a lot. It was a good college job.
Very cool. And to just tie this quickly to the listening to the radio or not in the car, one of the episodes I listened to was about Oga's Cantina, which is the alcoholic beverage and food place in Star Wars land, and that let me know that this exists. There is this thing that actually exists called Star Wars Galaxy's Edge Oga's Cantina, our Rex's playlist #1, which is the music that they play in the cantina, and they talk about it on the podcast about how it's just more amazing world building by Disney that they actually spent the time and the money to create all these songs that are supposed to sound in universe, but aren't like just, John Williams orchestra. This is like dance music and world music. And it's real. Like one of the songs is in Ewok. Another song is in Huttese. Like it's fucking amazing. And the songs are actually, some of them are not great, but some of them are actually really good. Like I've enjoyed listening to it. And actually, I did play this in the car for the kid the other day because I needed to change a pace. It's a fun little playlist. So enjoy. Links in the show notes.
I'll have to check that out. Of course, Rex from Star Tours.
The original Star Tours operator, yes.
Yeah.
Is now the DJ in Uga's Cantina.
Yeah, good for him. Good. Yeah. Nice to see Rex.
It doesn't pay as much, but it's the higher quality of life, I think.
Well, you can see if you've ridden the original Star Tours, perhaps being a pilot wasn't for Rex.
Yeah, he wasn't that great at it, to be honest. And now he gets to stay home with his wife and kids more often. So,
you mentioned Ewoks, and just yesterday on Facebook, I believe it was, I was scrolling through and someone was showing a demonstration of some of the crazy things you can ask an AI to do. And they had created a one sheet that was step-by-step instructions for performing a prostate exam on an Ewok. It was illustrated. It had Ewok anatomy. So you had a little Ewok and a little doctor and a little Ewok bent over the exam table. It was
Remember when they were
hilariously dystopian.
promising us that AI was going to cure cancer? And-
Right. Thinking about just the
well, no
gallons of-
colon cancer for Ewoks. We've gotten that far.
Right. But just how seriously the AI responds as if this were a serious request, and and gives you a serious response, and so comedy.
Very nice.
Another thing I came across was I put some pictures here in the show notes. Back in 1977, at the peak of Star Wars mania, somebody decided to give away a Toyota Celica liftback Star Wars edition.
And a galaxy of other prizes, Dave.
And a galaxy of other prizes.
Don't forget the galaxy of other prizes.
Yeah. And this, nobody knows what happened to this car. It's gone, or it could be the ultimate barn find for a Star Wars fan. But this is a Toyota Celica, which at the time was a pretty hot car. And it's got all kinds of Star Wars, I guess, decals put on it, spaceships and things. And I don't know. I would love to have this car, I think.
It's a good looking car.
Yeah.
So is the blonde standing in front of it.
Right?
That's C-3PO. Oh, wait, the other picture.
The other image.
I see
Image.
the other picture.
It's been a while, hasn't it, Jason? It's been a while.
So long.
She looks like she could be asking you how many are in your party for Captain EO.
She looks a lot
totally.
like, do you guys remember the actress Virginia Madsen from Sideways?
Okay.
She looks an awful lot like her,
Sure.
actually, with a bit of a tan.
Hmm.
So, yeah, this is great. I do wonder how much the overlap on the Venn diagram is between Star Wars fans and barn finders, but perhaps someday. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Could be.
I think there were, I maybe just crossing over in my mind, because there were toys that were like Matchbox made some Star Wars versions of things, and there were models that you could build of vans. Remember how they used to do airbrush art on the sides of vans?
Hell yeah. Yeah.
And I think there were Star Wars versions of those. So I'm probably blending in my mind the toys with a real full-sized one. But I can't imagine that there wasn't someone who had a full-size van with Star Wars airbrush stuff.
Oh, so many of them.
sure.
Dude, those were everywhere. Yeah. No, those were everywhere.
Yeah.
But I don't know if you guys saw this news that the new Mandalorian Grogu movie is expected to tank.
Really?
They're saying that it's going to bring in probably $80 million, which is the lowest grossing Star Wars movie like of all time, or at least of
And that
modern
Solo
time.
movie looking good again.
Solo
Right.
did $100 million, which, not bad.
I'm
but they're
not all
expecting
that
this to tank.
surprised by this because it's
The TV show.
a TV show that not everybody that's even into Star Wars has watched. It's fun. I've been enjoying it. I was surprised to hear that they were making a movie out of it too. I was shocked. And you're going with these characters that nobody knows, and I mean, at least Solo it was fucking Han Solo. All right.
Right.
Rogue One, it tied directly into the first Star Wars, and you had Princess Leia and Darth Vader at the end. And it's surprising that they chose to do this, and I wouldn't expect it to do as well as any other Star Wars movie would do either. So, but we'll see.
Yeah. I guess
shall
I
see.
expected it to ride on everyone's love for Baby Yoda. And
Yeah,
that
I
could-
mean, but again, that's I don't know. We'll see. I don't think it's going to do amazing. I don't think it's going to tank by any means. I think it's even a poorly performing Star Wars movie is a better movie than most performing. So I don't know. We'll see.
Yeah, I'm curious what the budget is on it too, because you'd think they could make it relatively cheaply if they had to. Everything's already made,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
So
The universe exists already. All the parts are there. Yes. All the characters have costumes. Yeah.
well, we have our tickets for opening weekend, so at our local Limax theater.
How much did those cost you?
I don't want to know. I don't know. I mean,
Yes,
probably. Well, let's see. There's 6 of us going, so it's probably $20 a person. So
I'd figure, yeah.
120 bucks there.
Then 120 bucks each for popcorn.
That's right. And then probably at least another $60 for popcorn. So yeah, we're in for $200 to see a movie of a TV show.
And to the point of it, maybe like, tanking. I don't know when I'm going to see it because my son hasn't watched any of The Mandalorian yet.
Oh.
So I'm not rushing off to the theater to go watch it with my kid.
Mm-hmm.
So we'll see.
Yeah. Budget was 166.4.
Okay.
Okay.
So it's hard to imagine it's going to lose money.
Yeah.
But who knows? Who knows?
We shall see.
Earlier in the show, I saw you mentioned Super Dave. You were referring to me.
Yes.
and that got me thinking about Super Dave Osborne, who I enjoyed back in the days. I guess I was introduced to Super Dave when he was on the show Bizarre, which was, I think, on Showtime.
Wasn't he first on Real People?
Oh, was he? I don't know.
I can't remember. He might have been on Real People.
Yeah,
first.
and then eventually he had his own show for a while. But I remember seeing clips of him on the show Bizarre. But I was thinking like Super Dave would be a pretty easy cosplay to do.
Oh yeah.
But the other thing that struck me, if you had asked me what Super Dave's outfit looked like, I would have said it was Evel Knievel's outfit. I would have said it was an exact copy of Evel Knievel's outfit. But it's not.
I think they had intellectual property rights even back in the 70s, Dave.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah. You're right. But I don't know. It's just a funny thing in my mind that I had definitely blended Super Dave's outfit with Evel Knievel's more than I thought I had.
Well, I mean, it's red, white, and blue with stars.
Yeah. Mostly a white jumpsuit. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's definitely
less
evocative.
chest hair showing.
Right. Right. Yeah.
So this is interesting. Super Dave Osborne his first appearance was in 1972 on the John Biner Comedy Hour.
I was not even alive yet.
Yeah. And then he became more widely known through his recurring appearance on Late Night with David Letterman. That's
where I first saw him. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Did you guys remember the show Bizarre at all?
No.
Okay. Well, it was John Biner hosted it. And it was a comedy show, half-hour comedy show, I believe. I think it was on Showtime. And I watched it because of Super Dave and then also boobs. There were boobs.
Like boobs.
Yeah, there were boobs. So, and it was much harder to see boobs back then than it is today. So,
it's true.
Yeah.
And Super Dave was on Real People, and the segments were presented as legitimate human interest features. So
yeah, Bob Einstein was a good comedian. I think he had his own thing, and he did it well.
Mm-hmm.
I know that Brian, I believe you're not a real big Marty Short fan, but
I will not be watching this documentary. But I did see it in the news, and I was going to put it in the show notes, and then forgot. And I'm glad that, of course, you caught it. Yeah.
Yeah. So there's a Martin Short documentary coming on Netflix. I believe it drops on May 12th.
The only way you would get me to watch this is Clockwork Orange style. I would have to have my eyes.
That's fair. I can completely understand how Martin Short is not everyone's cup of tea, but he
still
is
love
my
Three
cup of
Amigos.
tea.
Still love Three Amigos, though.
Yeah, and I think also my sense is that beneath it all, that there is a kindness to Martin Short, and I think that's part of the reason why I'm attracted to him and his humor.
Mm-hmm.
He doesn't strike me as being like, I don't know, Chevy Chase, just a jerk,
right,
to the people around him. So
he seems nice. I just don't find him funny.
That's 100% where I'm at. He seems like a wonderful. Of course, he is. He's Canadian. He's nice.
Right?
How could he not be? But
Right.
I hate so many of his characters as created. I wince. I'm in pain. Oh yeah. Anyways, I hope you enjoy it, Dave.
I don't disagree.
I'm sure it'll be wonderful.
I respect your opinion, and it's fine. So I'll just be in a dark room by myself watching alone.
Just you and Marty watching his documentary together.
Me and Marty, yeah. I was curious, particularly Brian, because I know you're a baseball person,
Mhm.
and I can't claim to be following sports all that much, but my wife and I were watching a baseball game earlier, I don't know, the past week or so,
Mhm.
and it really struck me how much they were challenging the umpires' calls over and over and over again, it
Yeah.
seemed. So is this the new normal for baseball, and what do you think of this?
You get 2 challenges unless you keep getting them right. Right.
Okay.
As soon as if you make a challenge and you're wrong, you lose a challenge, and then you have only got one more left. So when the umpires are particularly shit, as you must have had that game, and they the pitchers and the catchers just kept repeatedly challenging them and getting it right because the umpires are obviously making the wrong call. That's crazy, but I can see it happening. We've people in the world have been keeping stats on umpires for a long time, and it's well known that there are particularly, well, first off, that the hit rate's not all that great for umpires in general, but there are particular umpires that are fantastically bad at this. And at this point, I don't even know why we're tiptoeing around it. Just fucking institute it, and every pitch is checked, and we every pitch go and because it happens so fast, anyways. It's immediate. So yeah, I just go all in or don't. I don't understand this kind of halfway place we're at right now.
I'm sure there's a
It's
union involved. The umpire union is probably trying to save their jobs, but the technology nowadays, you don't need an umpire
right.
anymore. Period.
Yeah. Yeah, I know umpires are unionized and have one of the strongest sports unions, and I don't think the NFL umpires are unionized, but I could be wrong on that. But I know Major League Baseball is,
Right.
so that's probably part of it. Yeah, I mean, I could imagine the umpire having a little buzzer or clicker or something that tells him what the computer thinks
hmm
before he puts in his own 2 cents.
Well, there are a million other things for the umpire to do besides call the balls and strikes. I mean, obviously that's the lion's share of it because
They have
they
to brush the plate off,
have to brush the plate off. There's
hand
there's a
out some
gazillion
balls.
other calls. So,
Yeah.
this technology is there. It's been proven to be insanely accurate. We've had the same thing with soccer with video review of goals, VAR, which is now they tiptoed around it for a couple seasons as well, and now it's just every goal gets a VAR check. End of story. Like we check it. Doesn't matter what the ref said. We're checking it first.
So can you imagine a time when baseball fans insist that the computer be the primary source of whether it's a ball or a strike?
I think that there are purists that will be dead soon that will that will never ever accept this. But I think from the majority of fans, from what I've seen, and even my friends that follow the game, that are just kind of already like, well, if it's that accurate, why aren't we just using it instead of
Okay.
why would you don't want a game to be called one way or the other because of bad calls
Okay.
when there's a technology that exists that eliminates that.
Right. Right. So there's enough of a human element in baseball that in general that taking away this one part
Yeah.
is okay.
Yeah, again, like I was saying, there's so many other calls that are made and that are judgment calls. Now, is it a slippery slope? Can we say now that with the high speed cameras and AI and everything else that's involved, do we even need umpires? Can we just point cameras out there and have the entire game done that way? Or do we even need to do that? Can't we just throw all the stats for the past 200 years in and just have predictive algorithms tell us who wins the World Series every year? And
Right.
don't even bother playing the game. That's the
We just all
crazy
bet on
idea.
Polymarket, and it's whatever it is.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
Throw some dice.
Yeah.
For me, it's the balls and strikes thing, the ABS, the automatic ball system. It seems to make sense to me, and it seems to be insanely accurate.
Okay.
And if you're going to either use it or don't, but don't do both.
All right. Fair enough. No, I can go with that.
Yeah.
I guess in an era where they're trying to speed the game up, it seemed like an odd way to slow the game down.
Yeah. I think the plan is they want to introduce this and have this be the norm, but again, unions and they don't want to rock the boat too quickly. So this is how they kind of introduce things. They've introduced quite a few rules over the past 20 years, 30 years of this way, where it's, you get X amount, or we'll just start with the first couple innings, or we change all these different things here and there. So it's the softening us up approach.
Right.
Let's get you used to it, and then this is gonna be the way it's done from now on.
Yeah.
It's the lube.
Yes.
It's the lube.
This is the gentle lube before they shove it home.
Oh,
That's right.
Wow.
Well, on that happy note, gentlemen, we will see you next week.
All
Steer
right.
Ike.
Thanks, guys. See ya.
Closing shout outs.
No new patrons this week. Sad, sad, sad. But we would like to thank still everybody. DJ 1024, Vladimir, Pork Chop the Clown. Pork Chop the Clown. BG, Mark, Matt, Sean, Michael, Alexander, and Hit and Run. Thank you all for your continued support on Patreon.
Thank you. And it's a rare week with nothing coming in through PayPal, but appreciate everybody that's been tossing us money there.
Wow. Okay. Yeah. The last couple of weeks have been so generous, so we can float for a bit, but that's sad. And over at the tip jar, we've got Adam, Jennifer, and Alden with the big $40. So thank you all so much. And like we said, we've got merch. Merch is back. And we'd like to thank John from Norway, Julie from Massachusetts, Nick from Cuyahoga Falls. And I used to go through there, and it's in Ohio, and I would always play the REM song Cuyahoga when I go through there because it's a great song. And also, guest host Donovan got a new mug. So thank you, everybody, for picking up the merch. If you want some merch, go to shop.gog.show. And if you would like to join us on Patreon, you can sign up for as little as $3 a month, but you can give us as much as you like, obviously. We'll take that, too. You get the show early, ad-free, and in high definition. So check that out and keep the show on the air.
Preach. Yeah.
No reviews this week.
Nope.
So until next time, I'm Jason DeFilippo.
And I'm Brian Schulmeister. Thanks for listening to Grumpy Old Geeks. Get all the links and goodies from today's episode at gog.show/744. Want to keep the grumpiness alive? Toss a few bucks our way at gog.show/donate. Every penny helps keep the show on the air. Love it? Share it. There's a share button in your podcast player. Use it to spread the grumpiness to friends, foes, and everyone in between. We'll love you for it. Swing by gog.show to join our Discord and chat with us and other show fans. Thoughts, feedback, cool links, hit us up at gog.show/contact. And don't forget to leave a 5-star review at gog.show/review, and we'll read it on the show. And guess what? We've actually really, honestly, got new GOG merch. And we're going to keep some more stuff coming out there, especially if you buy it. Snag your grumpy gear now at shop.gog.show and check it out. Stay grumpy.